Hi gorgeous girls, how are you? I want to show you some exercises to avoid if you've got a bad back, and I want to show you some exercises to do if you've got a bad back. But before I do that, I want to have a chat. My name is Adele, I'm your gorgeous health coach. I help you with nutrition, exercise and mindset. So bad backs, most of us at one time or another have had a bad back. Why? It can be incredibly debilitating. It can stop you from doing your everyday tasks. Why does it happen? Well, interestingly, when you get a bad back, it doesn't generally affect just one little area of your back. It affects the whole of your back, and it is generally down to the biodynamics, the way that you hold yourself, or in other words, your posture. If you're going to sit like this in front of the telly or playing games, you're going to end up with a bad back. Now, I know that that sounds a little bit radical and maybe a little bit upsetting. Perhaps you believe that your bad back is caused by something else, caused by something you did, caused by a sharp movement that happened to you. No, the bad back was brewing, the sharp movement brought it out. That's what I believe. Back specialists believe there is no point going to the physio. There is no point going to an osteopath. There is no point going to a chiropractor. There is no point going to a Pilates class if you're going to continue with bad posture throughout your day. Okay? So take responsibility for the way that you stand. Take responsibility for the way that you sit. And I know that that's a hard conversation to have, but I promise you, you will reap the benefit. The other things that I've noticed in class when I work with biodynamics, generally Pilates, is that if you have stiff hips, you are more likely to have a bad back. If you have stiff hips, if your pelvis is not moving very well, then your back has to take the strain. Now, in the last blog, I talked about sciatic pain and why that was created. You can go back and have a look at that. But the same rationale is here. If you've got your hips are really tight, you haven't got that movement, it's going to create problems throughout your body. Poor movement, the way that you move and your posture is responsible for a bad back. So how do you avoid it? Well, as I say, I'm going to show you some exercises to avoid, and I'm going to show you some exercises to do. But before that, you need to do three things. You need to identify the movement that creates the bad back. Is it twisting and picking? Is it rounding your shoulders? Identify the posture, the activity, the movement that creates the bad back. Then take action to avoid it. How interesting is that? Avoid that action. Use the movement from your hips rather than from your back. And the third thing is to correct it. And that's what I'm going to show you now. If you continually hinge from your hip, you're going to take the pressure off your back. If you continually hinge from your back, then you're going to cause more and more back problems. So hip hinging is a movement that you want to establish. Moving your legs and your shoulders rather than constantly moving your back. This might sound really weird to you, but I promise the more you immerse yourself in it and the more you get to know it, the easier it becomes. So two things that are warning bells for me for bad backs. Stiff hips, they are a brilliant indicator that you've got to have a bad back in the future. Imbalance in your hips, and what's the other one? Moving from the back rather than from the hips. So let me just talk briefly about pain. What happens with pain is that it's a neural pathway in your body. And once that pathway has been stimulated, it is going to be incredibly sensitive. So if it's stimulated over and over and over again, even the slightest movement is going to cause problems later on, because the brain to the muscle to the nerve junction has been overstimulated. So that's why pain is really exacerbated over a long period of time. And I've had people in class who are absolutely petrified of movement with good cause because they've had that pain. So being able to relax with your body, knowing what good movement is, will help you to relax, to calm, and let the pain subside. So your brain has registered that pain. It becomes hypersensitive. It is more aware of that pain pathway. So even the smallest of pains creates an issue for you. Perhaps it's putting a towel or a blanket on your body that can create pain. It's because it's been exacerbated. So your back anatomy, your fantastic back. I love a strong back. Strong back, good health. So there is a doctor, Stuart Gill, and he believes that your spine can be looked at as like a radio tower or a telegraph pole or something like that, a really strong structure. And against that structure you have these guide ropes. Okay, and these guide ropes are what help to hold the tent pole up or the telegraph pole, that strong structure. Your guide wires, your strong wires are your muscles. We love our muscle. Your muscles are what hold your spine strong. So get your head around a few of your muscles. Your glute maximus, your bum. If your bum is strong, it's going to support that back, that firm structure. If your quadratus lumborum, do you like that one? If that's strong, these are these muscles deep inside the back. If they're strong, they're going to support your back. Your internal obliques, they help to hold your pelvis still. So your lowest rib to your opposite hip, they hold your pelvis still. Your external obliques hold the pelvis still the other way, so they don't tilt. Your latimus dorsi, do you like that? Your lats, you might have heard personal trainers call it the lats. These are the muscles that run down your back. These are the guide ropes. These are the things that stabilise your spine. Of course, your abdominals as well help to hold your pelvis. Now, Joseph Pilates, another name drop there, he believed that your muscles work as an orchestra. They all work together. So if one is imbalanced, and this is what I talked about in the sciatic blog, if one is imbalanced, something else has to take over. So if you can get your body in balance, if you can work in balance, then you're going to have less back pain. If you're restrained in one joint, it is going to affect another. So what is your movement goal? Your movement goal should be stamina, not strength. Think about your body as an endurance, as a long run, rather than a short, sharp, fast run, okay? Because your spine needs to be held all day, every day, apart from when you're sleeping. So it needs to be supported. So think about it as stamina, endurance, rather than strength. So you're not looking for massive range of movement, you're looking for little tiny movements that are constantly done so that you can build stamina. 3 exercises that you should avoid if you've got a bad back. Anything with a forward fold, like this. This is a forward fold, this is a standing forward fold, eyes to floor. This is a seated forward fold. These are some of the movements that you should avoid because I'm running through the whole of my back. Another one to avoid is pulling the knee in. And things like that, things that are flexing your spine. But things that you should be doing, exercises that are going to make you feel stronger, are squatting. Hinging from the hip. I was in class with a lady last night and she was hinging like that. Her bum was pushing out and she had a ridge in her lower back. Tuck your tailbone under, lift your arms so you can see that they're in line with your ears, and hinge from the hip and the knee. This is your action, hinging here, rather than rounding here. So you're moving from the hip rather than the back. So that's a movement to avoid. If I was going to pick something up like that, rather I pick something up like that. You know that one. You've seen that one. Other exercises are lunges. Pushing the knee back, getting that thigh strong. Knee just in line with the hip, in line with the shoulder. And this is the back saviour. This is the gospel of bad backs. Lifting your arm in line with your ear and lowering. Lifting and lowering. Making sure that your arm lines up with your ear. Now this is holding your back in a neutral, stable position, whilst your shoulder joint, your arm is holding you. Endurance, stability. Making it more advanced, you push your opposite heel away. You're looking for that straight line. Fingers to heel. So if you've ever done any of my videos on YouTube, you'll see this exercise come up over and over again. It is the holy grail of Pilates. It's become really, really important for back specialists. It's holding your back still. It's letting it be supported by those guide ropes that we talked about. Okay? Do you feel confident? Do you feel happy about solution to your bad back? Do you know that it comes from you? It comes from your posture, and there's no point going to see a specialist until you take responsibility for your posture, how you hold yourself throughout the day. I know it's a hard lesson to learn, but it will make such a difference. Good posture, good health. Good posture, your digestive system will work better. Good posture and your circulatory system will work better. Good posture and your respiratory system will work better. So, shoulders back, chest high, tummy in, and stand tall. See you soon. Bye.